This is going to be one of the most important videos of mine that you watch. If you struggle with getting stuff done, you struggle with productivity or anything like that. So this isn't going to be a long video because it doesn't take that long to explain, but it's going to be a very important video and you should watch the entire thing because it is going to increase your productivity by up to 1,000% of what you're doing now, guaranteed. So it's into 13 easy steps, and I'm just going to get right into it because it's not that complicated. I don't need to try to make it seem more complicated than it is. I just follow these 13 steps, and this is what works very well for me. So it all starts the night before. We have to plan the night before because this is going to bring us great clarity before we wake up the next day, so we don't have to wake up, get up, drink some water, all that kind of stuff, and then think about what we have to do. We already have a plan the night before. This is just extremely, extremely key. This might be the most important step out of the 13 steps, and failing to plan is planning to fail. You might have heard that phrase. I have certainly heard that phrase before, and it's just, I couldn't agree more. And lack of clarity is the one thing that's going to kill our productivity. So we need to have a plan the night before. The second one is we need to wake up early. I wake up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. I used to do that, but it's just too early for me. And you can say you're a night owl, but all you want, but nature is nature. Your circadian rhythm, people are meant to be sleeping when the sun is down and wake up when the sun comes up. So if you're the type that stays up till 3 a.m. and thinks you work best at that time, do what you want, but I disagree, and this is my video and my productivity system, so I'm just going over what works for me. The thing you want to do, in my opinion, when you wake up is either exercise or sweat right away. Like, those are probably the same thing, but I think the sweating part is important because this wakes you up nicely, especially when you're getting up at 6 a.m. and especially if you're not a morning person, that's difficult for you. It's very good to wake you up right away. Releases all of the endorphins, all that kind of stuff. And what I usually do is I walk on a treadmill for a 12% incline for 30 minutes. I like this a lot because it's not necessarily so difficult where you try to justify yourself, go back to bed because you don't want to do it. Like maybe running would be that difficult, or some serious weightlifting or something like that. But it's still hard enough and meaningful enough that you do break a sweat and you do get some exercise. So I think it's a very, very strong one. After this stuff, and now we're getting into the actual work part, I always have a pre-work routine or an initial work routine or whatever you want to call it. Basically, I try to complete 5 or so easy, quick tasks to make myself feel like I'm getting something done, that I'm actually getting in the zone. These are usually like chore type tasks that have to do with work, like update the clients, do X, Y, and Z. And I like to do this before I get into the big stuff because I feel like this builds a lot of momentum and gets you started and in the zone to conquer the actual important tasks. And these quick wins are easy dopamine as opposed to I need to plan out and create an entire webinar as the first task you do. I think it's just a very good thing to do, and it doesn't take that long. I'm talking maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes at most. So this one is one of the most important ones for me, the daily 5. So this is basically I work for 5 hours per day with a timer for each hour, 60-minute timer. It's not, oh, I think I worked 5 hours a day, or, oh, I worked about 5 hours per day. It's 5 hours that are timed for each hour. So I do a 60-minute working and a 15-minute break. I just have a timer like this. I've been doing this for years, and now Alex Hormozi made a video of that, and every time I tell people to do this, they said, oh yeah, you do what Alex Hormozi does. So classic. And the thing that I think is very important in here is to make sure that every hour has a specific plan. Like when we planned the night before, this is the type of stuff we'll be planning. But we also need to make sure it's a very specific plan with subtasks, breaking down the big tasks. If you say, I want to work on a lead magnet for hour number 1, it has to be a little bit more specific than that. I have to, 5 subtasks, lay out the lead magnet, change the color of each, each section to specify it, fill out all the headlines, then write the copy for each and then the graphics for each. That's much more specific than I want to work on my lead magnets for an hour. Like I said, the 60-minute timer is very important. So just buy one off Amazon you can get them cheaper than this too. Just have it on your desk. It's one of the best productivity hacks I've ever tried, and you want to literally train yourself to sit there and work and don't move or do something else until the timer goes off every time. It's kind of like a habit or a skill or something to just train yourself to sit there. You're not getting up for any circumstances. If you go to the washroom before, get some water before and have it on your desk. Just train yourself not to do anything except work until the 60-minute timer goes off. When I'm doing this, I like to have my headphones on, and I like to either listen to the same song on repeat, or maybe there's one long song like a Hans Zimmer soundtrack or some binaural beats. I never said that word out loud before, so hopefully I did not. I'm just going to gloss over that one in case I said it wrong. I always wear a hoodie when I'm doing this and have my hood up. This just kind of makes me, it really works to keep me focused, makes me feel like, it kind of narrows the vision onto the computer screen. Just something that works for me very, very nicely. The key here is to leave your phone outside of your workspace or office, and any justification that you need to have your phone there while you work. I tell people to do this. They said, what if there's an emergency? In the last 5-10 years, think how many emergencies there were. It's just bullshit. It's just something you tell yourself because you're addicted to your phone. And your phone is the ultimate death sentence for any form of productivity. You need to break the addiction to your phone. It's just so important. One of the other things I do is block all news, sports, politics, etc. from the computer that I'm working on. Similar reason to keeping the phone out of the room. I use a VPN for this. I use one called Focus Me. Focus Me. I wouldn't say it's, next level amazing, but it gets the job done for the right price, and you can just block whichever ones you do. So it has pretty good reviews. It's like $6 a month or something like that. So it works for me. That's what I use. And then this is one of the top 3 most important of these 13 steps. And after every hour, you want to fill out a form. So the form could look like this. I just use a Google form. My name is Matthew Larson. Today is March 7th. This is the first hour. What is my major definite purpose? What is my main goal for the year? What did I do in these 60 minutes? How would I rate my focus? What can I do next hour to make it better? This kind of stuff. And in 1000X Leads, we have these forms for everybody that they all use, and I'm not going to slow down or show you what the answers are because it's private, people's form, but this is just all of the form submissions from just March so far with people working in 1000X Leads. This is just so good for accountability, and it's kind of nice to go back, one day and see what you were doing on March 7th, and a year from now. See what you did for hour 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of fun, in my opinion, when you do it looking back. So the form is so important because it kind of proves to yourself and holds yourself accountable that you actually did what you did. It's not a matter of, I think I worked about 5 hours today or something like that. It's no, I worked 5 timed hours and here's what I did. It's mentally, psychologically, it's completely different. And reminders are a good thing to add to the form too. Like with every hour you complete, you're rewiring your brain and becoming someone capable of focusing and getting 10 times as much as you used to. Do you promise to keep going? Or remind yourself of your main goal. It's very good to do that as well. And the final thing is accountability. So in 1000X Leads, every time someone fills out this form, it puts it into the channel that's specifically for this form and shows everybody that they did it. Regardless if you're in 1000X Leads or not, I think you should have accountability with 3+ people who see the form. So you can use a Zapier or Make.com automation to broadcast that you filled it out every time you do, and send it to 3 or more people to hold you accountable. The combination of holding yourself accountable with the form as well as the timer to make sure you're actually doing it, and then other people seeing proof that you're actually doing it, is what really makes this system as good as it is. So I think you should try it if you struggle with productivity, and you might get 10 times more as much done as you normally do, and just give it a go. So we have planning the night before, waking up early, exercising right away, doing a little initial or pre-work routine, 5 hours of work per day using a timer with the headphones on, the hoodie up, leave our phone outside, block all news, sports, distractions, fill out the form after every hour for 5 times a day, and send it to at least 3 people every time. Like that, those are the 13 steps that's worked for me, so I thought I'd share this because I know I get a lot of comments and messages of people who struggle with the productivity side. They say, I want to do all of this, but how do I actually get it done? And this is how I do it. This is what works for me, so if you want to try it for yourself, I suggest you do so. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.